Thank you for joining us. So in the original script, the protagonist was actually male, and they switched it from a male to a female role. And I was wondering, what are some of the major changes that you talked about and you thought with the filmmakers before and during shooting in that switch?
The main thing was, in the original story, he had a wife and a child, and the end of the movie, the climax, was for him to be able to say, "I love you," and to his wife and child. And we immediately realized that for a woman that wouldn't be a big arc.
Right.
And I didn't feel she would have a child, and that we had to really rethink what would be surprising for a woman to have to deal with. And so we chose the thing that we thought would be the most surprising.
Right.
And then for the stunts, we wanted to make sure that we had to commit to, one of the reasons we wanted to make sure it was me doing everything is because we said we can't cheat it. We have to actually convince people that somebody who's my size and a woman is doing all these things, and we have to kind of bring them over to buy it. We can't just do it with CG. So we're going to have to and make her meaner. We decided to make her meaner than she was originally written. When she fights, she's mean.
Which must have been fun to do.
Which was very fun to do.
And you did a lot of Muay Thai and Krav Maga, I believe.
We tried
for training. Tell me, can you talk a little about the training that you did, or did you have a lot of experience in this before?
We did. Well, I was coming off having some kids and being home, so part of it was just me like running again and getting off my butt. But a lot of the training was the hand-to-hand combat, I think, was the hardest, because we wanted to do it all in one, so it didn't have to be shaky and it didn't have to be too edited. We wanted to have these big sequences where you could really see and understand the fights, and so that was the hardest. We trained and rehearsed those a lot, and then for a lot of them, like the jumping off the trucks or the ledge, there was no training. It just had to be
just do it.
Just go out there, get out.
And you worked with a lot of real CIA agents for the preparation of this. What were some of the more interesting things that you personally kind of took away from them that you were able to bring to the film?
Well, I love meeting the women, because the women were, for as much as I would think, God, I'm a slight woman and I'm going to be tough enough, and then you meet these women and they're tiny compared to me. They're tiny and they look like they could work in a library, and they are tough.
Right.
So that was really comforting to think, oh, the real thing's quite...
And you do a lot lot of your own stunts in the film.
And
so
I do.
Any real-life injuries? Or?
I did. I banged into I was jumping in sideways and shooting a gun, and I was looking where I was shooting, and I didn't see the desk that came and knocked me on the head, and I was out for an afternoon, had to go get a head x-ray.
Right, take a little break for that.
I did.
Right.
So.
What about, when you think about some of your past action movies, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Wanted and Tomb Raider, were you able to bring, or did you want to bring any of the stuff you learned from those movies into this, or did you try to separate out, almost like differentiate each movie separately?
We do. Well, for this one, we really, because it was the first one I was doing action that wasn't based in fantasy, we really had to try to make sure there was nothing that just looked pretty or cool, that somehow it was just much more grounded. So we did try to find a new language, and we talked about all the other ones to say this person would do this person would do this, so what's salt?
Right.
What separates her and what would be new for her?
Right. How do you think, if you were actually recruited by the CIA, assuming you weren't Angelina Jolie, the actress, how do you think you would fare as a CIA agent?
I think I'd be bad, because I'd probably tell Brad everything. Right. I'm one of those, I can't,
There'd be no
I can't keep secrets.
No secrecy whatsoever.
So you could easily pull him or my kids and get all the information.
Right. That's great.